If you've always wanted to learn how to brew your own beer, here's your chance. Pauline is checking out some upcoming workshops at the Neville Public Museum. Hi, Pauline.
Good morning. I'm talking about the first ever cellar series to come to the Neville, and we've been spending all morning with the curator. Kevin, you say beer has just several main ingredients: barley, hops, water, yeast.
That's right, the 4 principal ingredients, and there's variations of those. This is natural grain that came out of a field that I planted, organic barley. It hasn't been malted yet, but then yeast, the hops here, these are hop cones, traditional hops. I grew these actually on a trellis, and you put those into the beer as it's boiling. Of course, the main ingredient is water. That's what most beer is principally water. What all those combine then, once you get that sweetness out of the grain, you add the yeast, and that's what starts the chemical reaction of carbonation and turning it into alcohol.
So now, depending on what kind of hops and barley, depends on what kind of beer you want to make.
That's right. The recipes, there's lots of different recipes, and there's lots of different grains and hops. And so here's just some examples. German Hallertau is a noble hop, we call it. Ooh. And they all have different alpha acid levels. So the higher the number, the percent, the bitterer it's going to be. But they all have different kind of floral or aromas to them that will give the flavor. Okay. Then with the barley or the wheat, this is a Dunkelweizen that we brewed. So wheat is the principal ingredient, as a wheat beer would be. Briess is actually out of Chilton, Wisconsin. They're a huge malting company. Oh. And so it's great to have local ingredients here in Wisconsin. And all that gets turned into beer, and this is the mash tun, where it sits and steeps for between 140 and 160 degrees Fahrenheit for about an hour. And then from there, we move it over into the boil kettle down here as it boils. Okay. So yeah, it's we'll be doing this during the Cellar Series next Thursday.
And the first time you actually used this equipment was a couple of weeks ago with our very own Bill Miston. He was making his own beer.
Yeah, we broke it in with Bill. So this is the inaugural batch of Dunkelweizen. It'll be exciting to bottle with him this afternoon, or this morning even, and then give it a taste. So this is a great system. We'll hopefully be doing 3 classes up until December, and then hopefully those will continue into next year.
So now the beer that Bill made, sitting right here, what kind of beer, what is it similar to?
You know, Dunkelweizen is a dark wheat, so if anybody's had a Hefeweizen or a wheat beer in the summer, those are just a lighter version of this. So similar to then also, I guess, in malt, like an Oktoberfest this time of the year, or a Bock. So it has those malt flavors and a nice yeast kind of profile. Okay. So it's very delicious, very traditional to Bavaria, and hopefully it turns out well.
Have you tried it?
I've tried it to sample it, because you have to do gravity tests to make sure it's fermenting well, and it's well on its way to perfection.
Ah, Bill Miston, your beer's tasting good. So stay tuned to Fox 11 tonight. He'll actually be here. He'll bottle his beer, and he'll take you through the process.
Very good. Thanks, Pauline.